if we want to butterfly this, okay? So we want to open it up and we're going to stuff it. The first thing we're going to do actually is we're going to step over to the stove for a second, okay? We're going to take with us this butter. I'm going to just come right over here. I'm going to make a little stuffing. So I thought it would be fun to do that with you. Okay, so just fire up your stove a little bit. Get some butter going. And this is a very simple stuffing. There's so many things you can do. I have butter, and I kind of planned to do this. It's not a surprise to me that I'm going to do this. So I have all of my, what we call mise en place, all my stuff ready to go. Is that garlic? That's garlic. Okay. I'm looking for this. Okay. These are wonderful fennel seeds. They're wonderful. I love them. Okay? If you don't like them, you don't have to use them. But I'm cooking for my friends, and I'm only friends with people that like fennel seeds. So that's one of my rules. That's not one of my rules. Okay. Now, in here, we have just some fresh picked rosemary and fresh picked lemon thyme, both of which came out of my herb garden at home. I'm not one of those chefs that has a lot of time for a garden, but I do have an herb garden. It's very important to me to be able to get herbs when I want to cook at home, because number one, they're very expensive in the store for the smallest amount when they grow like crazy if you just put them on the side of your house. So I like doing it. Plus, that's the thing I'm gonna forget if I'm in the supermarket. I'm getting all these things and I just wanna make this, we forgot this or that, so now I just go right outside, pick it, and I'm done. So, all right, so once you get some butter and start cooking it, you see it start to get frothy. That means the water's cooking out of it. We're not quite gonna brown it, but we're gonna put some of these fennel seeds in there. And we're gonna toast them a little. Right away, start smelling those, beautiful. Then we're just gonna take some of these herbs and we're gonna just kind of toast them up just like that. Beautiful. And then I have panko breadcrumbs. And we're just gonna, you could burn your whole thing just trying to unwrap your breadcrumbs. Okay, and we're just gonna put them in and start tossing them. So we're getting all that flavor basically through your breadcrumbs. Okay, always clean as we go. All right, and in that, we're gonna add a little bit kosher salt. Kosher salt. And a little bit black pepper. Okay. At home, I have my pepper mill, and I always do that. Here, we go through so much pepper, our arms would be tired from grinding all that pepper. All right, and that's really all we gotta do to that, okay? So we just put some great flavor in there, a little bit of butter in there. And I did that now before I started cutting because I do want it to cool a little. In fact, I may just lay it out of the pan onto a plate to give it a chance to cool a little better. All right, that's that. Always kind of clean and tidy your station as you go. All right, now we are going to, so why did I teach you how to truss? One reason is it makes the roast nice, but certainly we can make a roast without trussing. You can't really do this without trussing. So if we want to stuff this, there's a lot of ways we could do it. We could cut a slit here, 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 not go all the way through, and then we could shove our stuffing in, and then we could roast it like that. That's a nice way to do it. Or we can do what we're gonna do here, which is to butterfly it. So, I don't know, Dan, if you can kind of, I'm trying to make sure I can do it where you can see. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by cutting about a little more than a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 off the bottom. And I'm gonna try to keep going there. And as I open it, we're gonna turn and we're gonna do it, come back the other way. And we're gonna continue, and we're gonna do it again. So we kind of made a book, and then we opened our book. Okay? Now, once you've done that, we still have our fat, so we can still do our roast really nice with the crispy fat on top of it, okay? That was intentional, okay? Now, we may want to, and we will do it this time, take a little plastic. And put it down, and then we can kind of pound it. The reason to pound it now is to even it, so that when we roll it up, everything's kind of cooking at the same rate. It's also going to help you be able to roll it better, easier. Okay, so let's. That's pretty nice. Okay, we will season it. A little salt. Don't write to Dan and tell him you've got to have the recipe for that. There's no recipe for this. Notice I didn't measure anything. It's not a big deal. I just took some breadcrumbs and toasted them. I'll probably have extra breadcrumbs. It's okay. We can do a million different things with those. A little salt, a little pepper, some herbs. Don't use dry herbs. If you use dry herbs, it's gonna be entirely too strong. If you do have to use some dry herbs, just a little bit goes a long way. Not a very big fan of using dry herbs for certain things. All right, so there we go. Now, I'm sorry. Through the magic of television, even though I didn't prepare it, someone said we should really have some Dijon mustard with that. So they brought me Dijon mustard, and we have it. So we'll kind of smear it all in there. Okay, that wasn't in my original plan, and that is true that a lot of times when we're cooking, what's in our original plan isn't what we end up with, and that's just fine. In fact, it's better. There you go. Okay, and you know what? I really should have done too. I had it, I didn't do it. I probably, when I had the butter in, should have thrown some garlic in. Right away. I had garlic here and here, and I still didn't put any in. But that's okay, this time we're not gonna have garlic. Maybe we'll put some garlic on the outside before we roast it, okay? And then all we're gonna do is put all these beautiful herbs inside. I'm not gonna put the garlic in, because by the time this gets to the right temperature inside, we won't really have cooked the garlic very well. So I would have needed to saute the garlic in, okay? All right, there we go. I don't think we need to go crazy. There we go. If you want to get a little crazy, you could just take some butter and put the butter in too. I mean, I like to get crazy, so let's get crazy. Now that I thought of that, we'll just do it. And we'll just put kind of little pieces in there. So pork loin's very lean, and we're making obviously a pretty fun and decadent dish out of it. So having a little bit butter is not gonna make it too much worse for us. Anyway, all right, put them all in. Okay, next we're gonna just kind of roll it up. Okay, just dry my hands real fast. Okay, now we've got this, and we're just gonna take it, and literally, we're just gonna roll it back up. There we go. Now, back to why did we learn how to truss? Because if we don't trust that, then all that filling is just gonna come out. Okay, so pull out our trusty string, put our little knot in it. Ooh, I made it too little. That was horrible. Okay, then we'll just pull some length out And we will cut it. Make sure to leave some sticking out. And then here we go again. Okay, maybe I'll just flip it over nice. And we'll start. Sometimes I show y'all how to do things that I don't do every day. This will be one of those things. Like when I was a lot younger in my career, I did this kind of thing a lot. And then I kind of got over it after a while and kind of stopped doing it as much. And now every once in a while, and I go, oh yeah, that's fun. I forgot that how much fun I have when I do something like butterflying out a pork loin or whatever. But I still don't do it very much, all right? And then we're gonna keep going. Okay, I should mention, alternatively, you could just cut lengths of string just long enough to wrap around, tie, and then tie a knot. And then another one, tie and tie a knot. That works just fine. I just don't think you want to pay me to show you to do that. You can just do that. All right? We're going very nice and tight. And I think one more before we go around. And then bring it around, and we'll pull this one. Pull this one. This one. This one. It gets quiet when you just have to focus for a second and do something. All right. This is when I need my band, like we have when we do the culinary concerts where we got a band. This is when they play a little tune while I finish tying this. All right, well, what do you want? This wasn't a cooking class. This was about cutting meat. So, all right, here you go. That sucker is gonna be delicious. So what I would do now, olive oil, some of the garlic that I didn't put, I'd rub, salt, pepper. I'll go into my oven, probably 350, 400 degrees, and just cook this sucker until it's about 155 degrees. Pull it out, slice it up. There you go. All right, that's the pork loin. We're gonna work on a couple of other little recipes that we decided to add in, and hopefully you'll get to check those out. But that's fabrication of the pork loin. Have a wonderful day.